Welcome back, Sports Nation and my champions. And today we're going to be shifting our fantasy focus from the AFC West to the NFC West. And we're going to start with the San Francisco 49ers. So let's get right to it. On offense, we're going to start at quarterback like we normally do. And the current starting quarterback is Jimmy Garoppolo. And I say current, we'll talk about Trey Lance here in a minute. He ended the season last year as quarterback 39 in fantasy. He only played 6 games. And he was hampered with what they call a severe high ankle sprain, and ended up going on the injured reserve for it. And currently he's basically being undrafted in most leagues here. And I would have to agree with that. I would stay away from this guy for a number of reasons. One, the injury issue. Two, more importantly, when he was in, he only got about 1,700 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. So he didn't play that well when he was on the field. And obviously, with the rookie being drafted this year, I think it's only a matter of time before they bring him in there. And the next player I want to talk about is Raheem Mostert, current running back 1 for the team. He ended up as running back 48 last year. He only played about half the season. And he too had some issues with some high ankle sprains. Now, he finished with a little over 500 yards and only 2 touchdowns. He's currently going at 89, which is kind of early to mid 8th round, as a running back 29 rather. And I don't see it. I think this is poor value for him. I think he's being drafted way too high. Not just the injuries, the team's kind of going into transition. I know Tevin Coleman's not there anymore, but I'm not real impressed. And I'm looking around at the running backs you could get around that position, 89th overall. So we're talking about Melvin Gordon, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, and Kenyon Drake. And I'd rather have any of those guys to him. Let's talk about the wide receiver here, and their top wide receiver now is Brandon Ayuk. After his rookie campaign, he finished as wide receiver 35. He ended up with just under 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's going at 88.6. It's early 8th round as wide receiver 34, and I see good value here. He's talented. I think he was starting to come into his own basically in the second half of the season. And I'd be interested to see once Trey Lance gets in there how these two guys gel. Obviously, he's the top wide receiver on the team, not the top receiving threat. We'll talk about tight end here in a second, but I think, like I said, if you've seen him play, he's kind of explosive and dynamic, and I think he'll end up probably wide receiver, low end wide receiver 2. So I'd say anywhere from like 20. Wide receiver 20 to 25. So I think this is real good value for him. Next, let's talk about tight end. Obviously, George Kittle. He finished as tight end 19 last year. He broke a bone in his foot. He was out for half the season. That's why he's currently being drafted at 29.1 average. That's early 3rd round pick, tight end 3. And I kind of question this because not really the injury. I think he'll come back from that, but I did make a video regarding tight end targets, and I got a guy on PPR and a different guy in standard formats that you could probably get between the 5th and 6th rounds that might be able to match George Kittle's production this year. And to me, it's hard when you have a couple of guys like that. I would rather try to go for them than to spend an early pick on a tight end, especially a guy coming off of injury. Now let's get to the sleepers real quick. Of course, we're going to talk about Trey Lance. The Niners moved up to the 3rd overall selection this year and picked him out of North Dakota State. Obviously, the heir apparent, and Garoppolo's kind of the placeholder probably until Trey Lance can understand the playbook and start getting in there. There's also Deebo Samuel as wide receiver on the opposite side of Brandon Ayuk. Not real keen on him. He's going as wide receiver 39 right now. He only played 7 games, had about 400 yards, 1 touchdown. Some of the guys you can get at that position in the draft, DJ Chark, Jerry Jeudy, and Curtis Samuel, no relation. I would rather have any of those wide receivers, so I kind of stay away from him. Trey Lance is very interesting, though. Be interesting to see when he comes in, actually starts playing, and who he gels with on this offense. As far as the Niners defense goes, they finished 13th best last year. Steep decline from the year before where they finished 3rd. Currently being drafted at 108, which is late 9th, early 10th round selection as the 4th best defense. Now, a lot of people attribute their drop last year due to Nick Bosa being hurt, and I kind of agree with that, but you know, I still don't like this. I'm kind of questioning where the draft position is for this unit. I think if you're going to pick them here, you're picking them at their ceiling, and I don't like doing that. I'd rather pick players and defensive units at their floor or mid-range. Also, their defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh, took the head coaching job with the Jets, so he's gone. And they promoted linebacker coach, former linebacker stud from Alabama, D'Amico Ryans, in his first time gig as a DC. So not to say he's a poor coach, but there'll probably be a little bit of a learning curve there. This is his first DC gig. Plus, Saleh had some good stud defenses there the last few years while he was there with San Francisco. Those things, plus I think you're drafting them at their ceiling. I would probably avoid this defense unless they fell probably another round. If you did enjoy this video, why not give it a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. Put your comments in the section below. I read every single comment and I respond to just about every single comment as well. If you want to catch up to our 31 and 31 video series, click on these links right here. Thanks for watching and supporting this channel, and as always, play like a champion.